Hey, what's up mga tao? This is me, Christian, and I'm back again with another vlog. And this vlog is all about serious topics. This vlog is all about realizations. Kaya sit back and relax, watch and comment down below kung meron kayong gustong sabihin na constructive. Okay? Okay. So specifically, we're going to talk about domestic violence. Have you heard about domestic violence? Have you even heard about domestic? But for sure you have heard about violence. So pairing it together creates a new concept. So without further ado, let's talk about what is domestic violence. So domestic violence happens between people who are or have been in a close relationship. So this is also called intimate partner violence. So basically this misconduct can take many forms, including sexual and physical abuse, stalking, and other threats of abuse. So, pwede ito mangyari kahit kanino. Pero, often directed siya towards women or queer individuals. And, kailangan din natin tignan na nangyayari din siya on children. So, it can happen in hetero or homosexual relationships. So, how do we identify if an act or a misconduct is considered as a form of domestic violence? So, these are the following examples. Your partner might often act jealous or possessive, meaning, parang lagi na lang siyang nagsiselos over someone, over something na sobrang random at kinokontrol ka niya at pilit ka niyang kinukulong sa kanyang sarili. They can call you names or insult you randomly. Mamaya bigla ka nalang tatawagin na, hoy, ang taba mo na, kain ka ng kain. O di kaya parang sabihin sa'yo na, parang dumadami na yung pimples mo. So, it's a form of abuse. It's a form of verbal abuse, especially when you're in an intimate relationship. Yung stalking, so, ba't ka nang i-stalk? Like, kung tayo ay may trust sa isa't isa, bakit mo ko i-stalk? Diba? Additionally, meron ding control over personal autonomy, creating a culture of fear-sustained codependency. So, what do we mean by fear-sustained codependency? Meaning, kaya tayo nagiging codependent dun sa partner natin dahil natatakot tayo. Dahil ini-induce nila yung fear sa atin, yung stress, yung anxiety, na kada may gagawin tayo ay mali or kada may gagawin tayo na hindi natin sila ini-inform ay mali agad. Kailangan, syempre, pagkatiwalaan natin yung partner natin and pakita natin na mahal natin sila through trusting them. Through trusting them. Through trusting them. So, may threatening din. So, what do we mean by threatening? Is this like, yung babarilin kita, hoy? Hindi. Hindi lang ganon. Threatening meaning, kunwari, sinasabi sa'yo na, pag hindi mo to ginawa, iiwanan kita. Or, kunwari, sasabihin sa'yo na, hindi mo na ako mahal, kaya ganyan yung ginagawa mo sa akin, kaya lalayo na lang ako, magpapakamatay na lang ako. No, that's not it. It's a form of emotional abuse as well. Kasi hinohold mo, emotionally captive yung partner mo. Yung constant blaming instead of holding themselves accountable for problems in the relationship. So, ito yung mga kunong sad boy or sad girl na tinatawag natin. Kasi, kumbaga dapat nagsasorry ka na lang because you're really sorry, you're genuinely sorry. Hindi yung nagpapaligoy-ligoy ka pa para lang i-defend yung sarili mo when in fact, you have done something wrong. So, paano nagmamanifest ang type ng violence na to sa queer relationships? For example, may pagte-threat na i-out niya yung other party if for example, hindi pa out yung partner niya na parang, hindi mo na ako hino-hold hands, so bahala ka, i-hold hands kita para makita nila na proud ka sa akin. Without realizing that that's a breach of their privacy and their security, knowing that their partner is in the closet, diba? Na kailangan ma-recognize natin na each people, especially queer individuals, have their time in coming out. So, i-respect natin yun kahit na partners nila tayo. Pagpepersa sa kanila na mag-act masculine or feminine depending on what the other party wants them to behave, which is wrong kasi people who love you genuinely should not limit you or restrict you from expressing your true self, diba? Yung pagkakaroon ng microaggressions. So what do we mean by microaggressions? So yung simpleng, alam mo, pogi ka sana kung hindi ka lang laging nakaskirt. Alam mo, maganda ka sana kung hindi ka lang lagi nakapantalon. Like, what do you mean by that? Na parang kino-compliment mo yung tao, pero in reality ay may subtle naman talaga na, yung mga ganitong forma ng behavior, ng misconducts, ay isang forma actually ng domestic violence. So, kung itong violence na to ay domestic, sinasabi ba natin na ito ay nangyayari lang sa bahay? No. Kasi when we say about domestic, it relates to someone who is close to you or someone who is very intimate to you. So, na-recognize natin that domestic violence can actually happen anywhere. It can happen in public places such as in parks or malls or actually in homes in particular. Dahil yun nga yung pinaka genuine definition natin when it comes to domestic violence. But we do recognize that domestic violence can happen anywhere. So, given the premises, sino ba yung laging perpetrator? Drumroll please! Di mga lalaki. According to some reports and some sources, men mostly resort to masculinist rhetoric when confronted of their acts to justify their violence and exonerate themselves from whatever liability. So for example, sinabihan mo na parang hindi ko nagugustuhan na wala kang trabaho at parang palamunin ka lang dito. Ang sasabihin sa'yo ng guy, naghahanap pa naman ako ng trabaho, hintayin mo lang ako, parang wala naman akong ginawa sa relasyon natin. So ikaw bilang partner nung guy, mapapaisip ka na, kailangan ko bang sabihin lagi sa'yo na maging practical ka at buhayin ako? And actually, according to some findings, sexism and misogyny set the scene from male abusive partners' coercive and controlling behavior. So sexism, we say discrimination is based on sex. So justified ang discrimination dahil based on biological differences. Yung misogyny naman ay hatred towards women. When these two work together, they justify male dominance, patriarchy, and of course, they justify domestic violence. So in this sense, they excuse abusive behaviors by men, of course, and they spell skepticism to female and children victims. Alam niyo ba na marami pa rin cases or unreported cases specifically ng incest in the Philippines? And alam natin na very rampant ang incestual rape dito sa Pilipinas. And dahil nga highly conservative ang bansa, nananatiling unreported ito dahil yung mga victims like children and especially female children ay napuput under pressure na wag magkwento, either because sila ay natatakot ma-labelan as victims or sila ay mismong pinipigilan ng mga taong pinagkikwentuhan nila. According to a finding on 2024, 7.2 of Filipino women aged 15 to 49 were subjected to physical or sexual abuse from their husband or male intimate partner at least once in their lifetime. From the same age group, 3.1% of Filipino women experienced abuse from their partner within the past year. 2.8% of Filipino women at the same age group had suffered from non-partner sexual violence at least once in their lifetime. So ano ba sinasabi ng statistics na to, no? So basically, mula bata hanggang matatanda ay nakakaranas. May pag ganun. Nakakaranas talaga ng domestic violence na perpetrated by men. Napaka-heartbreaking nun kasi supposedly dapat yung mga taong mahal natin ay pinagkakatiwalaan natin at hindi natin pinagdududahan. More reports state na globally daw, 25.8% of women or 682 million na katao or kababaihan noong 2023 ay nagsuffer from physical and or sexual intimate partner violence at least once in their lifetime. And 8.2% of that percentage have been subjected to non-partner sexual violence at least once in their lifetime. So, gamat malaki siya, hindi lahat ay nakakapag-report, hindi lahat ay nakakapagbigay ng kanilang kwento dahil nga sa takot na malabelan na victims or ma-associate sa kanilang perpetrators. So, while we do recognize these numbers, we also should recognize the amount of undocumented cases that are still lingering in the country or somewhere out there. Basically, sa Pilipinas, ang usapin ng kasal, no, ay napakalaki pa ring usapin. So, sinasabi dito that marriage norms in the Philippines requires couples to live together, and this actually places women in social settings that expose them to risk. So dahil malakas ang paniniwala natin sa pamilya dito sa Pilipinas, no, yung strong belief in family relationship ay actually nakakaapekto kung paano nakikita ng mga babae yung sarili nila. Dahil kahit sila ay maabuso ng kanilang asawa, sa paniniwala sa diwa ng pamilya, hahayaan na lang nila. Kapag naman ang babae ay hindi nagpakasal, stigmatized naman ito dahil nire-recognize na ang mga babae ay mga reproductive beings bilang mga tagapanganak na mga bata. So, nare-recognize natin na ang mga babae hindi lamang tagapanganak na mga bata. Hindi lamang sila taga-alaga ng mga supling, kundi sila ay meron ding mga pangangailangan, sila ay merong kahilingan sa buhay, at ultimately, sila ay mga tao din. So ayan, ngayon naman pag-uusapan natin yung mga existing laws and policies that tackle about domestic violence in the Philippines. So first, we have Anti-VAUSI, or the Anti-Violence Against Women and Children, or Republic Act 9262. So this act is enacted to address violence against women and their children in keeping with the fundamental freedoms granted under the Philippine Constitution, the provisions of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, or CEDAW. So, para sa anti-VAUSI, ang VAUSI daw ay any acts or series of acts committed by any person against a woman who is his wife, former wife, or a woman with whom the person has or had a sexual/dating relationship, or with whom the person has a common child, whether or not the act is committed within or outside the family abode. So basically, ang sinasabi dito ay any acts, basically, or any misconducts that perpetrate women and children are considered as VAUSI. So simply as is ay VAUSI siya. We have expanded Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2012. So this law actually makes it criminal to match Filipino women to foreign nationals for marriage, no? So usapin naman ito ng pagiging transaksyon, no? Pagiging object ng mga kababaihan, no? So for the purpose of exploiting Filipino women to engage in forced labor, slavery, sexual exploitation, or death bondage. So ito yung pag-o-offer sa mga kababaihan bilang pambayad, no, sa utang, no, binibenta ang mga kababaihan. Of course, we have the Safe Spaces Act, or Republic Act number 11313. So this act penalizes gender-based sexual harassments in streets, public spaces, online workplaces, and educational and training institutions. So anything that is considered as a gender-based discrimination or gender-based sexual harassment can be penalized under this act. So, ano ba mga examples nito, no? So, for example, tinawag kang bakla out of nowhere in an aggressive tone. So, that's actually considered as misconduct under the Safe Spaces Act. So, nakikita natin na kahit meron tayong acts and policies that tackle about domestic violence, we should recognize na may kahirapan sa pag-i-implement nito. So based sa mga napag-usapan natin kanina, mahihinuhan natin na ang mga kababaihan, ang mga kabataan, at ang mga kabaklaan ay mga primaryang biktima ng domestic violence. So dahil marginalized sector sila, nakikita natin, no, nare-recognize natin yung power imbalance and yung self-imposed authority ng mga kalalakihan sa sarili nila dahil nga sa kultura ng patriarchy at sa kultura ng macho-feudal sa ating bansa. Ayan, so dahil napag-usapan na natin lahat ng pwedeng pag-usapan, ano nang gagawin natin ngayon? Bakit may domestic violence? Bakit ganito pa rin ang lagay ng kababaihan at kabataan sa Pilipinas? Bakit hindi pa rin tanggap ang mga bakla? At bakit sila nadadamay, no? So, kung tayo ay may pake at tayo ay merong kalinga sa ating mga kapwa, marami tayong pwedeng gawin para waksiin ang kultura ng domestic violence sa Pilipinas. Isa na rito ay yung pagkakaroon ng mas maraming pag-aaral at pagsasaliksik na tumutungkol sa usapin at konsepto ng domestic violence. So dito, sa paraan na ito, ay may encourage pa natin yung mga biktima na mag-speak up at of course, makapagbigay din at mag-ensure na ma-maintain ang safe spaces for them, no? Kasi may mga tao naman talaga or may mga victims na hindi ka agad-agad makakapagkwento dahil na lamang sa kanilang internalized shame, no? So, dapat ma-recognize din natin yon. Additionally, ay kailangan din na ma-acknowledge natin at ma-validate yung naratibo ng mga biktima na bilang mga pinagkwentuhan ay dapat ma-recognize natin yung privilege at honor na binigay nila sa atin, no? Yung trust, kumbaga, na ibinigay sa atin ng mga biktima. So, sa ganong paraan, kailangan i-walk through natin sila sa pagpaprocess ng kanilang experiences. So, para sa pag-walk through, kailangan din natin, of course, mag-create ng initiatives, no, that help spread the message of breaking the chains of domestic violence within the country and globally. Dahil nga hindi isolated case ang domestic violence sa Pilipinas at nare-recognize siya globally, kailangan bumubuo tayo ng mga iba't ibang proyekto na makikita ng mas maraming tao at mas maiintindihan ng maraming tao na may ganitong pangyayari sa Pilipinas at may pangangailangan na rin na ito ay waksiin. So, ano ba yung mga initiatives na yon? Isa na rito ay yung, of course, pag-share ng online materials that centers around domestic violence. So, yung mga statistical data, kung ano yung nature ng domestic violence, risk factors of domestic violence, and kung ano ba yung effect mismo ng domestic violence. So, ayun lamang ang ating vlog ngayon at sana nagets nyo lahat ng sinabi ko. Sana hindi ako nagsayang ng laway at sana makita ko rin kayo na gumagawa ng mga ganitong types of vlogs or videos na may advocacy, no, at meron talagang gustong patungkulan, lalo na sa panahon ngayon ay dumarami ang krisis natin. Maigi na rin na tayo bilang mga individual ay magsimula na sa atin yung pagkakaroon o pagbubuo ng isang lipunang mapagpalaya. At of course, mapagpalaya hindi lamang sa isang uri, ngunit sa lahat ng uri, lalo na sa mga marginalized sectors natin. Ayun lang, and once again, ako si Christian. Naintindihan niyo ba yung sinabi ko? Okay? Okay!